Dividends feel like free money. They're not, and that misunderstanding could cost you decades of retirement security. Look, I get it. The idea of stocks paying you cash just for holding them sounds perfect. Passive income while you sleep. Financial independence without lifting a finger. That's the dream they sell you. But here's what you need to understand by the end of this. Dividends aren't magic. They come with hidden costs most people ignore, and chasing them could actually leave you with less money when you need it most, especially if you're counting on that portfolio to cover rent, healthcare, or basic living expenses 30 years from now. And with inflation already eating into paychecks and retirement accounts feeling more uncertain than ever, getting this wrong isn't just theory. It's the difference between actually retiring and working into your 70s because your strategy looked good on paper but failed in practice. So let me start with the core truth most dividend investors don't want to hear. When a company pays you a dividend, your shares don't just magically stay the same value. The stock price drops by roughly the amount of the dividend. If you own a stock worth $100 and it pays a $5 dividend, you now have $95 in stock and $5 in cash. You didn't gain anything. You just moved money from one pocket to another. But here's what most people miss. That $5 you just received, the IRS wants a piece of it right now. Even if you reinvest it immediately, you're paying taxes on it in the year you received it. If you're in the 22% tax bracket, that's over $1 gone. Compare that to a growth stock that just appreciates in value. You don't owe anything until you actually sell. And even then, long-term capital gains rates are usually lower than your ordinary income tax rate. So you're not just breaking even, you're losing ground. Now, the counter-argument you'll hear is this: but I need the income. I can't just sell shares. That feels like I'm eating into my principal. I understand that psychology. It feels safer to live off dividends than to sell a piece of your portfolio every month. But mathematically, it's the exact same thing. Whether you receive a 4% dividend or sell 4% of your shares each year, you're extracting 4% of your portfolio's value. The only difference is the dividend forces you to pay taxes immediately and gives you no control over the timing. Let me clarify something important here. This isn't about dividends being evil. Some companies pay them, some don't. That's fine. The problem is when people build their entire retirement strategy around chasing high dividend yields, thinking it's safer or smarter than a balanced growth approach. Because what actually happens is they end up concentrated in a handful of sectors: utilities, REITs, tobacco, old telecom companies that pay high dividends specifically because they're not growing anymore. And when you're 67 and living off that portfolio, and one of those high-yield darlings cuts its dividend because the business is struggling, now you've got a double problem. Your income just dropped, and the stock price probably tanked too. You can't pay your Medicare supplement premium, and you can't even sell shares at a decent price to make up the difference. The real problem starts when people treat dividend yield like a guaranteed return. A 6% dividend yield isn't the same as a 6% bond. Bonds are contractual. Companies can cut dividends whenever they want, and they do. During the 2008 financial crisis, dividend cuts were brutal. During COVID, same thing. If your retirement plan assumes that income stream never changes, you're setting yourself up. Here's the other piece most people don't factor in: opportunity cost. While you're holding a stock that pays a 4% dividend and grows 3% a year, you're potentially missing out on a growth stock that doesn't pay dividends but appreciates 10% annually. Over 30 years, that difference is massive. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars for someone starting with a modest portfolio. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about retirement? Don't I need income then? Yes, but here's what actually works better for most people. Build wealth with growth-focused investments while you're working. Then, in retirement, create your own dividends by selling small portions of your portfolio systematically. It's called a total return approach, and it gives you way more flexibility. If the market's down one year, you can sell less and pull from cash reserves. If it's up, you can sell more. You control the tax timing. You're not handcuffed to whatever companies decide to pay out. And for people worried about running out of money, this is backed by research. The so-called 4% rule for retirement withdrawals is based on total return, not dividends. It accounts for selling shares. It works because over long periods, a diversified portfolio grows faster than you're pulling money out, even with those sales. The truth is, dividend investing isn't a strategy, it's a preference. And for a lot of people, it's an expensive one dressed up as safety. Here's the bottom line. Dividends aren't free money. They're just a different way of accessing your own portfolio's value, and they come with forced taxes, less flexibility, and often lower total returns. If you're building a retirement plan in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, and you're chasing dividends because they feel safer, you're likely sacrificing hundreds of thousands in growth for the illusion of security. That doesn't mean you avoid dividend stocks entirely. It means you don't let yield dictate your entire strategy. Focus on total return. Build a diversified portfolio, and when you actually need income in retirement, create it intelligently, not because a company decided to send you a check. Real security comes from understanding the rules, even when they're stacked against you. If this cleared up some confusion, hit that like button. And if you want more no BS breakdowns on money topics that actually matter, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.